We've got a little rod knock in the motor, and we're trying to figure out what we can do to stop it.
It's going to be on the podcast. My podcast.
This is our latest episode. The cap. Well, actually, the recap. But first up, check out the digs. Look at this. Over here. Looking a little less shabby than last time you were here. We've added these posters that are behind us, and there's some more on the other side of the office, which is just out of shot. I'll show you at the end of the program. Brought these from Racing Line Designs and SS Media. So Racing Line Designs are in the UK, and SS Media are out of Australia, specialising in mainly supercar product. I'll put their links in the comments below. I'll put the links down below, so after you finish watching this, you can check those out and purchase some if you like. It's not paid content. I bought them myself with my own hard-earned money. Right, now, you would have seen in my last episode, I was down in Tauranga over the weekend of Bathurst, calling their event the Tauranga Indoor Championships. So it's basically the last big indoor meeting of the year. Great event with great people. Had a really good time down there. Really enjoyed working with the team and the Tauranga club. It was a great weekend across all classes of racing. Really enjoyed myself being there. Really liked working with the Tauranga Indoor Radio Control Car Club Committee. Made me feel welcome. Made all the races feel welcome. And man, did the youngsters turn it on. And just the caliber of youngsters that they've got coming up is just amazing. I couldn't get over how many of them were enthusiastic for getting out there and marshalling the whole time. I had to ask adults to go and change out with them so the kids could get some time to go and eat and that sort of thing and water themselves so they didn't dehydrate, because they just race after race after race they're out there, and they were doing an exceptional job too. So handled the pressure from all the adults yelling at them when they crashed. So yeah, really good to see the Tauranga Club putting a big effort into their younger generation. Okay, so we'll just recap. So this weekend, being Labour weekend, we've had a couple of race meetings go on. We've had a couple of race meetings on the go, national titles, and yeah. At the time of recording, it is Monday of Labour weekend, and we've had another two big events happen throughout this weekend. One in North Island and one in South Island. South Island enters their annual South Island Champs, which is a mixture of electric and nitro on-road racing. Bit of a wet one for them. Saturday didn't quite go to plan. I think they would have had more lap times done with a submarine than they would have with a car. But hey, look, yesterday, Sunday, the weather turned it on and they managed to complete their meeting. So they got all of their qualifying and finals in one day, so allow for those who were travelling to get back onto their planes so nobody missed anything. So our results for the 2024 edition of the South Island Champs. So they ran front-wheel drive 21.5, 13.5, Formula 1, and Nitro Can-Am. They also had Nitro GT on the cards, but it doesn't seem to have run a final for some reason. If you know, leave a comment below or give me a holler and I can update as we see fit. And then they also ran in the 8-scale gas Can-Am and electric Can-Am, which is a new class for them, and electric GT. From what I understand, the 1/8 electric Can-Am cars are pretty rapid. I mean, the nitro counterparts are rapid to start with, but these electric things, running success, I think they run on them, are just rapidly quick. Run the same sort of big wedged aero body shell foam tyres, lots of downforce, lots of power, and yeah, apparently they are a lot of fun to race. So we'll just go through the results. So, and front wheel drive. Taking the TQ was Luke Prattley from down in Christchurch. Winner overall was Gavin Dawson from up here in Auckland. He made the trek down to go and race, and he came away with the chocolate fish for front wheel drive. Luke Prattley took second, and James Beck from Invercargill was in third. Then 21.5, we had Regan Carter take TQ. He also won 21.5 with Luke Prattley taking second. So looks like Luke's day was full of him being a bridesmaid. Then Dean Wong holding up for third spot overall in 21.5 touring. So great result there from those three guys. All three of them are pretty fast. Regan's the current 2024 national champion as well. He took the spoils when he raced up in Auckland earlier this year. Then we have 13.5 touring. Again, Regan Carter TQing and also taking the win. Dean Wong taking second spot, and Jaden Duffy from Taranaki in the 3. Formula 1. Willie Sloan, young Mr. William Sloan. He came and raced at our national event at North Harbour Club earlier this year. Had some mixed results, but definitely every time he comes out on the track, he's getting faster and faster. He is another young guy to watch. So he TQ'd in 1. Jamie van der Laar was in second, and Lee Thomas in third. We move into the 1/8 Can-Am electric class. So then we move into the 8 scale Can-Am electric class. Like I said, like the Nitro version, just electric powered, 4-wheel drive, wedge-shaped body shell, pretty rapid. TQ went to Shane Merrill. First was Jamie van der Laar. Second was Nick Henderson. Third, Nelson Soper. Great result there for that class. Then we had GT Electric. This is 1/8 scale, so our TQ went to Lee Thomas. Craig Lamb took the win. Selwyn Duffy was in second, and Kevin Dench in third. Now, so all the electric classes ran triple A mains of 5 minutes long. So fairly standard there for electric racing. And then the 1/8 Can-Am was run over a 45-minute final, single final, which is typical for gas racing. So the TQ went to Jaden Duffy. Shane Merrill was first. Daniel Steinhardt was second, and Nelson Soper was third. Now, yeah, so looked like it was would have been fairly intense to get all that through in a single day. The Canterbury Radio Control Car Club did an exceptional job to get through their program in a single day. Yeah, it's never easy when you've got problems going on in the background, least of all weather. But they did a good job. They got it through. They made it happen. Got some results. People go home nice and happy and reset again for next year. Now, also, speaking of events and big events, and there's nothing bigger than Large Scale Speedway, 1/7 scale they run. So the Hawke's Bay Large Scale Speedway Club ran their national championships over this weekend. So they run some different classes. Some you may recognise from full size spec, which was midgets and sprint cars. Then they have what they call dirt modified, super dirt modified, and late models. Late models are what we'd call super saloons here in New Zealand in the speedway terms. The super dirt modifieds, they're kind of like a big version of the Mud Boss class. Have you ever seen that in RC realms? I think the guys down in Palmerston North are starting to run that at RIR or Ruakawa International Raceway just outside of Palmerston North. They run that on their dirt oval. So essentially it kind of looks like a truck, looks like a car, looks like a modified. Yeah. Anyway. So in the dirt modified class, typical speedway stuff, we've got a few different names for people here. So we've got our TQ goes to Rhodey. First is Rhodey, second is Michael Kendall, third is Brenton LaPrue, and the Super Dirt Modified. Now, the current NZRCA rules don't actually say a lot about Speedway. There must be a supplementary book somewhere giving their full class breakdowns and what the rule sets are. So Super Dirt Modified, TQ went to Kenley Brown. First place was Kenley. Second place was Matt Pedersen. Third place was Tyler LaPrue. Then we got sprint cars, which was TQ went to Kenley. First was Kenley, second Cameron, third Maury Richards. Then in the late models, we had Kenley and TQ. First went to Ron Groom, second Mike Kendall, third Kenley Brown. And finally, midgets, TQ going to Cameron. First was Brian Taylor, second Ron Groom, third Cameron. From what I can see on the results, which are all available on Live RC, they run almost like qualifier heats, and then they have 3 finals. And each of the they have 2 finals of looks like 15 laps, and then they have a feature length final right at the very end, which is double the distance. I need to get along and go and have a look at that in the flesh next time I'm down that way. I don't think they're running anything up this part of the world in terms of speedway. The only speedway we've got going is RC stock cars, which is generally run at Waikaraka Park indoors on a small track, so only in tent scale. So yeah, I need to get along and go and check that out, get some more info on that, so I can be a little bit more up to speed on bringing the info to you. Yeah, so that's the 2 big events, and moving along to what's left for the balance of the year. So realistically, what have we got? We've only got pretty much the 1/8 scale gas nitros to come. They're being held in Nelson. They put their hand up for it, and we're going to run it earlier this year. And decided that with the Asian Buggy Champs coming to New Zealand early in February, that they'd push out their event to the end of the year rather than have it sort of back to back on in March or April, which I also think clashed with another Asian Buggy Series event, possibly the Philippines. So they've pushed it out to this end of the year, which is really good of them. So make sure that they've got everybody, all the names coming up or coming down. Sorry, which they have. They've got plenty of the local people who I've reported on before in electric off-road indoor racing, crossing over into the outdoor stuff as well. So yeah, results will be on Live RC for that. I'm not sure if anybody's going to be covering it with any footage or feeds. We'll see what comes of it, and I can bring an update in November after the event to see what's happened. Maybe have a chat to a few of the guys that have gone down and just see how they felt the event went, and then I can bring that to you. And then rounding out the season, we've got a bit of a special event happening down at Ruakawa International Raceway. That's a little track. It's an old school tent scale off-road track just outside of Palmerston North, almost in Ashurst, and it's on the main highway. Well, not quite, it's down a lane, but it's easy enough to find. And they're holding what they're calling their VO Fest. So that's Vintage Off-Road Festival. And they're catering to everything from plastic tub chassis through to the re-release up to 1996, I think it was. So like your Optima Mids, your Lossy JRXs, that type of era. First rendition of Laser, Schumacher Cat, Boss Cat, Super Cat, Cougar, all that sort of generation. And also Julian Hardy, who's the man behind this event, is also allowing for anything up to 2013 in age. So any of the kits that ran up to 2013. So that's like your Ultima, what was it called, RB5, or your Kyosho ZX5, which is a very good car, shaft driven. Actually, it looks like their Phaser TF that they've got out at the moment, similar sort of layout and the chassis and that sort of thing. Kind of looks like that, really. And their Dirtmaster and Sandmaster they've just released are based on those chassis. So you could conceivably buy a Sandmaster or a Dirtmaster and convert it back to something vintage. Looks like it'll be a good event. Lots of classes, lots of racing. 2 days of racing down there. Should always be fun. Julian always puts on a good event and always makes everyone feel welcome. So yeah, we're really looking forward to seeing how that goes as well. And that should just about, apart from standard race days and that sort of thing, that should close everything out. So I'll be back, as I said, with another episode before the end of the year. And we will run through what's coming up in the first half of the year, the first 6 months. One of the most important things is we've got early for next year, and I'm only mentioning this now because it's the end of January, is the 1/10 scale EP on-road nationals. They're being held in Invercargill. They've secured the velodrome down there, which is an indoor facility. Runs the same surface as what North Harbour do, so the same tyres will work. They're running that on the 31st, from the 31st of January through to the 2nd of Feb. So that's over that weekend. If you're thinking about going, book your flights now. Get in while they're cheap. Get your accommodation sorted. Everything's fairly easy to get around in Invercargill. It's a good little place to go, and in the summer it'll be hot. Pretty hot. And the sun doesn't go down until really late. So yeah, but it's a good place to go and see. I haven't done any racing down there. I am trying my hardest to go. Not only to race, but also to get some footage and film and that sort of thing to keep the content going. So yeah, I'm working hard in the background trying to get that to happen so I can go down there. But yeah, if you're just like me, a regular racer wanting to go and do some on-road racing, they're offering 21.5, 13.5, modified, Formula One, front-wheel drive, and they're also doing a mini enduro with the GT class or GTO2s. So they're doing that as well, just to fill in. And I think they're also running mini. Anyway, it's on the NZRCA website. Check it all out. All the details there. All the details that I've just spoken about will be in the links below. So check those out. Check out the links below for the SS Media and Raceline Design as well. Yeah, so that's pretty much me in my new digs on a Monday afternoon when I should be doing some work, but because it's a long weekend, I'm doing this instead. There's also, last weekend, unfortunately, we lost one of our members of our RC community. Young Eddie Kim from Taranaki passed away on Sunday the 20th. And he's left his wife and his young child behind, so our condolences go out to them in this time. I'd only met Eddie probably a half dozen times over the last 18 months, so leading up to our national event earlier this year at North Harbour, and then he's come back a couple of times as well. He took on the RC Maker SP1, or actually just RC Maker in general, as a brand under his E&M Motorsport to sell and support, and he had a whole lot of cool ideas that he was talking about with supporting the races and getting the cars out there, and just really passionate about it. It was really good to see that. And I think I spoke a little while ago how I was working on something in the background that I wanted, something that I hadn't done before, and I've been in talks with Eddie about doing a review on the SP1. And I was due to get the cars next weekend after the South Island Champs, which he was supposed to have gone to. But yeah, so that's funny how things go sometimes. So yeah, real sad loss. He's a really neat guy, and there's not really a lot we can say. So yeah, put a little picture of him up here somewhere, I think, just as while I'm talking about him. So just it's a bit of a sad moment, really. Yeah. As I said earlier on, um, we're winding it down to the end of the year. For those who have been naughty or nice, you'll be hoping that Santa's going to be leaving a new kit in your stocking on Christmas morning, maybe, or something better or bigger. So, I've enjoyed this journey where I'm at to right now with doing what I'm doing here. I've got some bigger plans for next year. And I'll be reaching out to the clubs for their big events at some point as well to see if they'd like me to come along and do anything. Um, you know, the more I can get out for the RC community, the better. I think don't know of anybody else in New Zealand who's doing this sort of content. I know there's a couple of people who do travel and hobby shops and that sort of thing. I've seen literally a couple, doing that overseas. Haven't seen much of their stuff of late, but yeah. Thank you for your support, and as always, like, comment, and subscribe. You can, click wherever it is to do that. Me being me with my hands doing this. And yeah, so until the next one, thank you very much, and we'll see you then.